Hi, my name is Shanton Chang from the University of Melbourne, and together with my co-author, Catherine Gomez from RMIT University, we've written a paper on the digital journeys of international students, exploring the ways in which international students use digital sources of information. Communicating effectively with international students has long been a mainstay of the international education sector. In particular, we're interested in how we communicate information about courses, studies, well-being, adjustment, and socialization with international students in order to help them adjust to the new host country. However, increasingly, institutions and governments are putting a lot of this crucial information online. Yet, at the same time, it is unclear how effectively these online information are being used by the students themselves. Therefore, this paper explores how we might understand the online experiences and information-seeking behaviors of international students, especially when they move between countries to a new environment. This is important in order to understand what implications there might be for how well we actually communicate with international students. This is a conceptual paper that looks at a model for understanding the digital experiences of international students. It draws on literature from information-seeking behavior, international students' online behavior, social media use, including previous works on the international students' social networks. From the literature, we understand that people are more likely to rely on pre-existing sets of information that they tend to rely on over and over again. So for example, an individual might have 5 to 6 websites they tend to go to all the time and a couple of social media platforms that they access every day. So this is what we call the digital bundle of information sources that an individual comes to rely on. Digital journey refers to the transition that an individual makes online from relying on one digital bundle of sources to a new digital bundle of sources, perhaps based in a new host country or internationally. So for international students, we are interested in whether or not they start to use new bundles of information once they move to a new host country where they are studying as students. What the paper argues is that the likelihood of international students making a digital journey to start to use online information sources that are new will depend on their self-identity, such as whether they identify themselves as somebody who is new on an adventure looking for new experiences, or someone who is trying to preserve their culture of where they've come from and thereby relying on all sources. It also depends on their collective identity, their sense of belonging, or whether they are looking for new groups or trying to maintain strong connections with their friends back home. In addition, it also depends on their digital literacy and their skills in navigating new sources of information in quite different digital environments that might be presented to them by the new host country. In addition, these new digital journeys can often be enhanced or impeded depending on the international student's user experience when they are using the new sources in the new host country. Whether they can find the information they need, whether it's convenient and it fulfills their information needs. We also look at whether or not there are new online communities in the host country that are welcoming and inclusive that makes the international students feel at home so that they find new digital homes, as you might look at how the international students might create new sense of belonging. Finally, the question of whether or not all this new information provided by new host country is accessible on their existing devices that they've brought with them from their previous country. This paper actually questions the assumptions around the online behaviors of international students. Just because we put it online doesn't mean the information will be used. There are international differences in how students access and use information. Digital Journey challenges these assumptions and says that service providers need to start to consider the differences in the digital environments of students as they move between countries. Therefore, it's important to examine institutional practices with the online communication strategies with international students in order to make sure that the students get the best information they can in order to thrive in the new host environment. We hope you enjoy reading the paper and look forward to your thoughts. Thank you.